She said you were kind. She said you were caring. She said you listened. You tried. You gave. You adjusted. And then she left. Not for a worse man. Not for a cruel man. But for a man who didn't explain himself. Who didn't flinch when she tested him. Who didn't wait for permission to be himself. You told yourself she wanted a good man. But what she wanted was a strong one. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. And you? You weren't a master of anything. Not of your emotions. Not of your desire. Not of your self-respect. You made her the center of your discipline. The judge of your worth. The mirror in which you searched for identity. And when that mirror shattered, so did you. Let's say it clearly. She didn't break you. You broke you, by building yourself around her. The weak man believes that being agreeable will win him loyalty. That, understanding her, will earn her devotion. That avoiding conflict will make her stay. But she doesn't want a servant. She wants a force. Someone who doesn't move when she pushes. Someone who doesn't lose frame when she cries. Someone who can stand alone, and still be unmoved. Not because he doesn't feel. But because he's grounded in something deeper than feeling. Be like the rock that the waves keep crashing over. It stands unmoved and the raging of the sea falls still around it. Marcus Aurelius. A woman does not respect a man who loses himself in pursuit of her approval. She may use him. She may keep him. She may even say she loves him. But deep down, she cannot trust him. Because he's not anchored. He's not sovereign. He's not willing to walk away, and that makes him disposable. You thought your love would prove your value. But real value doesn't prove itself. It reveals itself through limits. Boundaries. Standards. You thought being nice was enough. But niceness without strength is not virtue. It's fear, dressed in politeness. If you want to be loved, love virtue. Not people. People are unstable. But virtue endures. Seneca. You built your love on her emotions. But emotions shift. You built your attention on her mood. But mood is not meaning. You built your identity on her gaze. And so when she looked away, you disappeared. She doesn't want a man who collapses to win her. She wants a man who stands, even if that means she walks away. Because only in the presence of strength does desire become trust. And only in the presence of trust does love grow instead of consume. Let's be brutal. You abandoned your truth to say what she wanted to hear. You delayed your mission to make time for her needs. You stopped challenging her, because you were afraid to lose her. You broke your edge, and thought it was compassion. But compassion without command is chaos. She doesn't test you because she's cruel. She tests you because she needs to know if you're real. And you failed the test every time you softened when you should have held the line. Every time you apologized for something you didn't believe. Every time you begged when you should have walked away. The tragedy isn't that she left. The tragedy is that you still don't understand why. You think it's about her. It never was. It was about you, and the lie you lived. That love requires self-abandonment. That being nice is enough. That showing your heart means giving it away. Freedom is the name of virtue. Slavery is the companion of desire. Epictetus. You didn't love her. You desired her. And desire, without discipline, is slavery. She became your escape. Your comfort. Your substitute for mission. And no woman wants to be that. Not really. She will not say it. She will not explain it. She will simply drift. Her respect will fade. Her interest will die. And one day, her eyes will say it all. You were not him. The day you finally wake up is quiet. There is no applause. No fire. Just the truth, standing in the room like a shadow you ignored for years. And the truth says, you were never leading. You were following. Not her, but your fear of being alone. Everything you did in that relationship. Every kind word. Every sacrifice. Every silent concession. Was rooted not in strength, but in survival. You gave, not because you were full, but because you were afraid of being empty. You listened, not to understand, but to avoid conflict. You stayed, not out of love, but out of weakness masked as loyalty. It is not that we love too much, but that we forget to love wisely. Seneca. You loved her more than your principles. More than your purpose. More than your own reflection in the mirror. And now you walk alone, not because she left. But because you left yourself to chase her. So now what? You rebuild. But not to win her back. Not to prove her wrong. Not to become someone worthy of her return. You rebuild because you've seen what happens when a man gives his power away. And you swear never to return to that grave. The strong man does not seek revenge. He seeks alignment. He doesn't ask, how do I get her to love me again? He asks, how do I never betray myself again? Because the wound wasn't her leaving. The wound was you leaving your edge to earn her softness. And what she wanted, was the edge. Stand upright, speak the truth, and do not fear. Marcus Aurelius. So now you build. Not charm, but character. Not promises, but principle. Not attraction, but presence. You train. You say no. You walk away. You protect your time. You speak when it's costly. You lead, even when no one follows. And now, something changes. You're no longer available for women who want to be chased. You're no longer a candidate for manipulation. You're no longer entertaining the game. Because a man with mission does not orbit emotion. He lives above it, not from arrogance, but from purpose. And if she returns, you don't flinch. You don't analyze her words. You don't ask what it means. You watch. And if she can't walk beside you, at the pace of your standard, you bless her departure. Not with bitterness, but with honor. Because you do not need her to stay. You only need yourself to remain unshaken. This is what she wanted all along. Not someone to please her. But someone she couldn't move. Not someone who begged. But someone she had to rise to meet. And the tragedy is, you could have been that man. But now, finally, you're becoming him. And it has nothing to do with her anymore. A man must stand erect, not be kept erect by others. Marcus Aurelius. She doesn't want a good man. She wants a man who's good on his own terms. She wants a man who can carry the storm. Not a man who cries when the wind shifts. She wants a man who speaks truth, even if it stings. Who disciplines his lust. Who isn't led by impulse. Who looks at the world, and moves through it, not for it. You thought love was a game of gain. But now you know. Love without strength is erosion. And strength without discipline is destruction. So you rise. And you walk differently now. Not to prove anything, but because you've seen what it costs to crawl. And you swore. Never again. You don't become the man she respects by demanding it. You become him by never again needing her respect. That's the paradox. When you were obsessed with proving your value, she saw none. Now that you no longer perform, apologize, or chase, she feels your weight. And the weight of a man who no longer asks to be chosen is the most powerful presence in the room. Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it. Epictetus. So you stop talking. You stop overthinking. You stop seeking signs. You don't ask her what she wants. You become a man who knows what he wants, and lives like it. If that aligns, she follows. If it doesn't, you walk. Because from now on, you choose yourself first. She doesn't trust words. She trusts direction. And direction comes not from what you say, but from what you will not break. You don't flinch when she's upset. You don't panic when she withdraws. You don't shrink when she tests. Not because you don't care. But because your care is no longer a weakness she can leverage. You used to orbit her emotions. Now, you orbit your mission. She comes second, not because she's unworthy. But because the man she actually wants is the one she must keep up with. The one who leads, not begs. The one who stands, not negotiates his dignity. The one who doesn't shift for her, but invites her to rise. He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive. Seneca. You used to fear her disapproval like death. Now, you fear something greater. Becoming a man who folds. That fear makes you sharper. It makes you slow to speak. Hard to move. And almost impossible to control. So when she says, "Why are you so distant?" you answer with silence, because now, your energy is earned, not given. When she says, "You've changed," you don't defend. You nod. Because yes, you've changed. You are no longer willing to be liked at the cost of your truth. You don't need to be cruel. You don't need to dominate. You simply own yourself so completely that any woman who enters your life enters a kingdom. Not a playground. She'll feel it. She'll test it, again. She'll try to find the old man, the soft man, the predictable, needy man. But he's gone. Buried in the silence you chose instead of begging. And if she walks, you let her. Not because you don't value her. But because you no longer chase what cannot meet your standard. This is strength. The ability to lose someone, and remain whole. The men she forgets were good. The man she never forgets, was unshakable. Because he gave her something no nice guy ever could. A man whose love didn't come at the price of his spine. You used to ask, "How can I keep her?" Now you ask, "Does she match the gravity of my direction?" If yes, you lead her. If no, you leave her. Not with rage. Not with ego. But with the clarity of a man who would rather walk alone than be half of himself beside someone else. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. Marcus Aurelius. That's how you live now. With urgency. With fire. With standards. Because life is short. And you've already wasted enough of it explaining yourself to someone who was never meant to validate you. Only to reveal your weakness. And she did. Now you thank her. Now you rise. You are no longer the man who bends. You are the mountain she either climbs or walks away from. And either way, you stay unshaken.